3, 2, 1. Hello and welcome to Top Tips with, and this time we've got Anne English from Create Intrigue, which is very exciting. I know that there are a few of you who've been commenting to say that you're really excited to hear what Anne is going to share with us today. So usually at the beginning of these, I ask you what you've been up to this week so that we can wait and see if anyone is going to turn up live. So what have you been up to? Tell us about Disneyland as well.
Yeah, lots of talks this week. So on Sunday, I was talking to Suki, and then on today, obviously, I'm talking to you. And then on Friday, I'm going to be talking at Founders Friday.
Oh, I haven't heard of Founders Friday.
Ah, okay. So
I should write that down.
Newcastle Startup Week.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah, okay. So Paul Lancaster,
yeah,
who runs Newcastle Startup Week, he wanted to continue the momentum of that throughout the year. So he organised something called Founders Friday, and that's based in Newcastle. And anybody can turn up. It's a mix between networking and hot desking, and also you can just meet up with people. There's free lunch included, which
always good.
But yeah, there's speakers there. As I say, there's a space where you can just get on with some work if you want. So Founders Friday is really good. So yes, I'm going to be speaking at that this week. Yeah,
excellent. I don't think I could make it this week. That would have been really good.
Well, it happens once a month.
Yeah, excellent. Yeah. Oh, look at that. Awesome. Right. So do you want to tell people who you are and what you do? Obviously you could talk for ages about your amazing background story, but just keep it short, and then we'll start talking about your tips.
Okay. So Anne English, I'm a visual communications expert. There's two sides to my business, both to do with visual communications. So one side is the Visual Marketing Academy, which I've founded, and that is how you present your brands, your products, and your services. So that's very applicable to kind of what we're talking about in the brand group today.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And then there's the other side of it. So yes, one thing is visually communicating your physical stuff, your products. But the other thing is what happens about this stuff that's up here. How do you communicate the kind of intangible? Your thoughts, your ideas, your system. And to be honest, everything starts with an idea. So communicating, that's really important. Getting all this, you probably had a head full of ideas, especially if you're creative. We never stop thinking. So
always notebooks full of things.
So the other thing that I've created is vision mapping, and that's based on over 30 years of helping people to solve problems, to come up with creative solutions. So I would always map that out. And then through mapping it out, you can start joining the dots and you have light bulb moments. So yeah, and out of vision mapping, I create either vision trees for people who want to grow their business, or I create signature systems for people who are advice sharing, like coaches, to present their system, to present how they help people go from pain to gain. So that's the two sides of my business: visual marketing and vision mapping.
Yeah, fantastic. And they all look so exciting. And I know I've been talking to a few people who've been working with you lately, and they all get so excited. You can see that they're really excited about it and how much it's helping them. So it's really good stuff. So I should probably find out more about this, to be honest. So we've got Joanne saying hello, Sarah saying hello. This is great. Say hello. So it's Sarah Phillips and Joanne Rowland and Claire Louise Owen, because you know all these people, so it's good for you know who they are, isn't it?
Hello, girls.
Lovely people. It's always nice to have lovely people on. Yeah. So you've got 3 amazing tips for us today. So why don't you tell us the first one so that we can all digest it and feel better?
Okay. So I've got 3 tips from the Visual Marketing Academy. It's the first section of that, which is the 5-star principles. So the basic things that I believe everybody should apply to their business. And out of the 5-star principles, I'm only going to give you 3. So anybody can ask me at any time what the other 2 are. I would always start with less is more.
Yeah.
So whether you're presenting your brand, your products, your services physically or online on your website, a lot of people think that they've got to put everything out there, but less is more creates intrigue. It gets people asking questions, that kind of thing. So if you imagine, have you ever been into a shop that looks like an Aladdin's cave? And it looks absolutely fantastic when you walk in. You think it's amazing. There's just all this stuff around you, bright, shiny objects. But you may have walked out and not actually bought anything. Yeah, has that ever happened to you?
Yeah, I can think of exactly the shop now, but I'm not going to tell you what it is. You know,
yeah.
It's not very nice,
sure.
is it really?
I'm sure we've all got one in mind where you just, on first impressions, you think it's wonderful, but then you end up not buying. And the reason behind that is not because the products weren't wonderful, it's because it's that less is more. You're suffering from overwhelm. And when I talk about visual communications, you need to be able to focus on something. So if you give, you know, everything, it means that you then can't, you don't know where to look first. So if you keep it simple and uncluttered, that actually helps. So I'll show you an example. Well, I'll tell you an example of this. So I've worked with Hanging by Freddie. If you know her, she makes rope jewelry and she can make it in a range of colours, and we've worked together. And her initial reaction was, put everything out there, because if I don't show a red necklace, you know, or a purple necklace, what happens if that person is looking for that thing? And then what ends up happening is they don't buy anything because it's not there, it's not to them. But actually that gives you an opportunity to have a conversation. So if you see, for example, somebody is wearing purple, but you don't necessarily have the purple necklaces out, you could say to them, if they're looking at, you know, the necklaces, you can say to them, I'll see you looking at the necklaces. By the way, I have purple ones. You know, I've got some spare stock under the counter or something like that. So it can be a conversation starter. The other thing is, you are the expert in your business. So you should be able to curate choices. And it may be that you curate them for the time of year. If you know, things are seasonal specials, things that relate to in the run up to Christmas. But also, when I had a chocolate fountain business, Charlie's Chocolate Factory, my initial response was, tell the brides that they can have anything. Just ask them what dips they want. But then I realised that brides often suffer from overwhelm, and I was the expert. So what I said to them was, okay, you will get the top 12 different items. And I know the most popular is strawberries, and then it's marshmallows, and then it's profiteroles. So I give them a list of what they were. Then I said to them, if you want anything else, let me know. And in 10 years, I had one person ask for cherries. But how much slower would that process have been if I'd been waiting for them to make a decision? And at the end of the day, how do they know what guests would like for a chocolate fountain? I've never had one in my life before. I was the expert. So remember, you're the expert. If you curate your choices down, give customers maybe 3 options, that really helps them. And the other thing I would say is, with that, the less is more is the hero product. So, you know, one thing can be really valuable. It might be the one thing that you want to sell. It might be the special offer. It might be the feature of the month. It might be a key message. Or even it could be your niche, you know. So that less is more. When people talk about going into the marketplace and selling to everybody, because you think, oh, well, that opens it up. That doesn't. That means people aren't focused on you because they don't actually know who you serve. So with the niche market, sometimes people talk about avatars, and that can be important. Something that Michael Owen said to me, Michael Owen of Angelfish, I don't know if you've come across him, and I'm part of the Brand Collective there. And what Michael says is that a niche can actually be a mindset. If you're struggling to find a niche, so your niche might be people who believe what you believe. So it might be people who believe that they want to invest in their well-being. So it might necessarily be, you know, women of a certain age. So for me, it can be people who are designer makers, that kind of thing. So that's about less is more, and you can apply it to all sorts of principles within your business, within your brand.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sitting here obviously thinking about this from a design perspective. And I know people come to me and they'll be like, oh, I want a banner, or I want a leaflet or something. And they'll give me all this information. And I'm like, what's the main thing you want to say? What can we get rid of? And it's always like, how can we narrow this down and make it less so that people will actually read it and not be confused, because it's that whole, what you said, overwhelming thing, didn't you? It's confusing if you've got too much stuff. So
and that's
it's
fine. You can start
everything
off like we do with vision mapping. You can start off with lots of ideas, but then it's filtering it down. What are you going to focus on? What's the thing you're going to focus on? What do you want other people to focus on? Exactly, yes.
Totally. So it completely applies. Joanne says that her pop-up stall won a bottle of wine judged by you.
Yes.
She's paying attention. She obviously has been listening to your tips about less is more.
She has, yes. She's definitely been paying attention. And if you've seen her stall, she applies lots of principles. Because what I say with visual marketing is, some people will say, well, I'm not creative. But there's a picture behind me on the wall. It's like, if you can spot a wonky picture on a wall, that's how, when things visually don't look right, you know, if you walk into a room, you see that wonky picture and it's like, oh, it's doing my head in, I've got to straighten it.
Yeah.
That's what happens if you present something and it's not right. So by moving things around, and what I do is I give people tips and techniques on that. But if you can't initially see that wonky picture, you can have tools. You know, a spirit level will straighten a wonky picture for you.
Yes.
But it's being aware of that thing. It's being aware of, if you're not presenting things properly and you know, you're just slightly off. It doesn't have to be the thing about the straightness, but it's just if you're not resonating with people, it's because it's not presented correctly. Yeah. And so she's applied lots and lots of tips, and our store looks fantastic. Yes.
It always does. I've never seen it in real life. I see photographs of it quite often, and it always looks amazing.
Yeah.
So yeah, fantastic. Okay. So if anyone has any questions about any of this, please do put them in the comments. I think these people probably are feeling just like, ooh, this is good. I don't need to take all my things with me. I was like, what a relief.
Yeah. You know, think about things like the time of year. What is it that people are looking for? It's like what they do in store. You know, you've got an aisle that is seasonal. You wouldn't necessarily expect a lot of summer holidays, paddling pools and things like that on display. In winter, of course, they replace that with your Christmas products, your Christmas decorations, your Christmas gifts. So having a season calendar for your business and thinking about that, what is it that your customers are looking for at that particular point in the year? You can curate your choices down.
Yeah, definitely. And there's a lot of things that are seasonal for all the businesses, aren't there? Even if you don't have like a product, like a thing, you still got like seasonal stuff.
Yes.
So that's brilliant. Someone said hooray, but I don't know who it was because the comments are not telling me. But that's good. Hooray is great. Wonderful. Okay, well, I think that's great. And I think that just, like I was saying before, just ties in so well with all of the things that I do as well. So fantastic.
And you can apply it, as I say, to products, to your services, to the way you present yourself online, even to things like Instagram. You know, curating your photographs down, the way you present them, the story that you want to tell is very important.
Yeah, no, it is totally brilliant. Okay, so what's next?
Do you want me to go on to my next one then?
Yeah, unless you haven't finished.
No, we can.
I'm sure we could definitely talk about it for a lot longer.
I can talk about less more.
Yeah, but we've both got another meeting shortly.
Yeah, we'll go on to the second one. So the second one is about grouping. Okay? So if you group things, you gain maximum impact by putting things together. If you display stuff in categories, what happens is it makes it easier for buyers to find. So thinking about that, for example, this top, if I wanted to buy this top, where would I go? So I'd go and maybe go to a department store, perhaps, or I'd go to a women's wear shop. I'd definitely go to the women's wear department. And then I'd start looking around. You know, I might go to a section where there's tops. I might be looking for a particular colour. So I'm curating it down. I'm looking for the categories by colour. I might be looking for a particular size, that kind of thing. So what you're doing again is that niching down process. It's the same when you go on websites. So websites are presented in categories.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking of when you were talking about this.
Yeah. So if you go on to, example, Marks and Spencer's website and you're looking for a light for your living room, You go onto their website, and then it might be within the homeware department. It might then be in the lighting department. And then they might have further categories to do with whether it's a standard lamp, a table lamp, a lampshade, that kind of thing. So you'll categorize it down, and then it might ask you for a choice. Do you want to choose by price range? Do you want to choose by color, materials? So if you present what you do in categories, in groups, that makes it easier for people to find what they're looking for.
Yeah.
Now, sometimes you can have things in more than one group because people will search for things not always one way. So they might know, first of all, that they want to shop by a colour or by a style or by a price or something like that. And that's where I suppose when you are on a website, it's easier to do the search and cross check. Maybe if you're presenting your products on a stand, what you could do is, there's no right or wrong answer. There's just principles that help it look better. It may be that at certain times of the year, you are grouping things by type. So, Corin Lewis Ward, for example, Powder Butterfly, she might group things by China wear, homeware. So it might be things like tea towels and aprons, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But she may be doing a Christmas fair. So then it might be more appropriate to do it by price, because people might be searching for a stocking filler, or they might have a budget for a client, for a customer or a client. So you can group things in different ways and you can categorize them down, but it makes it easier for you to communicate your message, and also for your buyers, for your clients, it's easier to find you. So I do this with ideas, with the vision mapping. So we've all got so many ideas in our head. What I get people to do is I coach them through a process of getting those thoughts and ideas out of the head. Now, it's all clutter at that point. It's all just but it's a bit like when you're sorting out the Marie Kondo effect of when you're spark joy when you're decluttering. But then you categorize it, don't you? You sort things out. It's the same with your mind. So then if you categorize it, you've then got what I call, when I do vision trees, is roots. You're planting seeds, but you've got then roots to follow down. And if you want to follow that one down, that's great. But if you want to then you get to a point where you don't want to take that any further, you can jump onto another one. But you've categorized your thoughts, you've categorized your ideas. So it makes everything easier to sort things out.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, and then you can actually see where you need to go, which does that, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's not just
it goes back to the less is more thing and getting rid of all of the confusion.
They all kind of work with each other. They do.
Yeah. Well, Joanne says, I've got 2 comments from Joanne. Give me 2 seconds. Christmas markets, 2/3 of the stall will be gifts, mugs, cushions, cards and calendars. The rest of the area's focus is on the drawings, either commissions or wildlife. So she's doing exactly what you just said. Well done, Joanne.
That's it. and also, the grouping thing can be a bit like the upsell as well. So maybe if you're buying this, you might want that.
Yeah.
So if you're buying a mug, you might want a coaster to go with that. Now, this is where it gets into problem solving. Because people buy, here's another tip, people buy for 1 or 2 reasons. So they buy for either, and this is just an extra tip thrown in there.
I love extra tips.
For a want or a need. Yeah, so it's something that you want or something that you need. Now, I might need, for example, a pair of glasses. I need some glasses to be able to see. What I don't necessarily need is a designer pair of glasses. Yeah, but I might want a designer pair of glasses. Now, you can charge more for a want over a need. Yeah, that's what the brands do. Yeah, so the both in essence do exactly the same thing, help you to see, but one might look prettier than the other pair.
Yes.
Yeah. So upselling and cross-selling and grouping things together can be a problem solver. So if we go back to the mug idea, if you sell a mug and then you put it with a coaster and then you might put it with a gift card that you've designed in the same, so for Joanne's in the same product range, what you are doing is potentially solving a problem for somebody because
Mhm.
you've made a ready-made gift for them.
Yeah.
So you can group things together. And if you think about the big brands, when you go into stores and things, often you'll go in. One thing with grouping would be the buy one get one free.
Mhm.
How many
Yeah.
times have you bought things when you didn't actually need the other thing, but because it
Oh
was
yeah.
put together as a package? And
Uh-huh.
I'm not really saying that you need to sell stuff to people that they don't need, but you see the
Mhm.
principle about how combining things,
Yeah.
it
It just
works.
makes them go, oh yeah, I wouldn't mind that too. I'll get that while
Yeah,
I'm.
and with
Mhm.
your services as well, quite
Mhm.
often you'll say, "Well, I do this, but I also do that," and sometimes you might give away a freebie with a
Mhm.
package, a group.
Mhm. Yes, absolutely. There's loads on that, wasn't there? Yeah.
Yes, because there's a lots of
Yeah.
different ways you can apply
Mhm.
grouping and categories.
There are. Yeah,
Because I
there are.
understand that some people don't necessarily have products. It may be that they've
Mhm.
got a service-based business, so
Mhm.
you've just got to think differently and think creatively.
Oh yes, you can still group all of that. Yeah, but you just have to maybe think a bit
Yes,
differently about it, because yeah, it's all the different ways that people search for things, isn't it? I know when I look at websites, um, you were talking about Marks and Spencer's website before in the categories, and Amazon have changed theirs. Where you go and you get in the categories on your phone, it drives me nuts now. So I'm like,
yeah,
I'd much rather go somewhere else, which is
yeah,
good because actually I'd rather go
of
somewhere else
course
anyway. But it's convenience, isn't it? And that's like they've removed that from
it
me at the
is.
minute,
Yeah,
and I'm
everybody's
not a fan.
busy. Hmm.
Hmm. Yeah, I can't be doing all of this going into the category and having to go out and go back in the category. Oh, can't I be bothered? So, so yes, it's about definitely about convenience as well as just the whole grouping thing. It's really really good,
Yeah. So the
fantastic.
first one's about overwhelm. The second one, like you say, is about
Hmm.
convenience, making it easier for people to
Yeah,
do things.
oh, we like it when things are easy, don't we?
Yes. Keep it
Fantastic.
simple.
Absolutely. Oh, Joanne's second comment was, right, I think, well, I'll just read it. It was related to something you said before. She said she learned this the painful way when she was setting up last Christmas and she hated the look and it looked like a jumble sale. It's definitely not a problem she has now, is it?
No, it's certainly
No,
not. Yeah.
no.
And
It just
that's
looks
just by applying the principles. What I'll
mm-hmm,
say about the Visual Marketing Academy, the stuff that I teach people in that is,
mm-hmm,
I don't want people to end up having to spend more money. I
mm-hmm,
call it your silent salesperson.
mm-hmm,
Just by moving, it can be exactly the same things. By
mm-hmm,
moving them around and knowing how to display them properly can make a difference
mm-hmm.
between whether you sell something or not.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to cost necessarily money to to buy more things in. Might cost some money to buy me,
Mm-hmm,
to buy some of my time or come on a course or something like that. But
uh-huh.
once
But
you've
money well
invested
spent.
in that,
Yeah.
yeah, you've
Mm-hmm,
invested in that training, you've invested in
mm-hmm.
yourself. The rest of it is just about how you present your products. So,
Yeah,
oh, poor Joanne, learning the hard way. But yeah,
I
she's
know.
got it nailed.
No,
Yeah.
not now.
Yeah.
So before we move on to your third tip then, so you're talking about your Visual Marketing Academy. I know you want to talk about your Visual Marketing Power Hour. So do you want to talk about that before we go any further?
Yes, we can do. So
Yeah.
there's different ways people can access my knowledge, the experience that I've
Mm-hmm.
gained over the years. And I do workshops and I do masterclasses. Sometimes they're funded, we can
Mm-hmm.
tap into some funding because I know
Yeah.
it can be difficult when you're setting up a business, running a business to find the money to do that. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, sometimes I can do funded masterclasses and workshops. Tends to be the masterclasses are more about showing people, opening their eyes to what it is that we do, and you
Mm-hmm.
learn, take away stuff from that. When I do the workshops, that's more interactive. That's when
Yeah.
you can bring along your table full of stuff, and
Yeah.
or I'll give you products, and we'll work with that. The other way of, and that's over a day, so that's a longer
Bet you have
period.
such a
But
good day.
sometimes people just want a quick fix. So they
Mm-hmm.
might have booked a market, they might have something coming up, and they're just,
Mm-hmm.
because I've had this where people have booked to go to an exhibition,
Mm-hmm.
and then just beforehand they go, oh, what do I do? I've got no idea what I'm
Yeah.
doing. So
Oh
I
no.
get quite a lot of last minute requests, that kind of thing.
Uh-huh.
So what I've done is I've launched the Visual Marketing Power Hour, but actually a Power
Mm-hmm.
Hour could be for other services that I do, and
Mm-hmm.
that's the time when we just focus specifically on that less is more thing. So you
Mm-hmm.
come to me with a problem, with some questions. It may be that you want to send me some photographs of your stand. that, or it might be some images, that kind of thing. And then what we do within that hour is focus on solving your problems. So you can tap in to my 30 years worth of experience and know-how. And like Joanne says, sometimes, we've made the mistakes first, so then we know how to do it properly so that you don't have to make the mistakes.
Yeah. Which is great.
The idea behind that. So it's a quick fix. People get a massive amount of value out of that time. We'll also do it by Skype or Zoom video conferencing. Because again, a bit like this, we're then totally focused on the task in hand. And, it saves you time, it saves you money because you're not paying for a cup of coffee, you're not having to travel somewhere, that kind of thing.
And you've got all your stuff at your end and you don't have to pack it and unpack it. Yeah.
And with the video conferencing as well, I can share screens with you. So it means when we're talking about things, I can bring up visual examples and then present that to you as well. So it works really well. And it's global as well. It doesn't matter where you are in the world.
Which is pretty good, isn't it?
Yeah, so I've done that with clients, as I say, not just in the Northeast. Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. So how do people, how do they get in touch with you to sort that out? So I think that sounds like something that anyone who has anything should do.
Messages are good. Yeah. So you've got Facebook Messenger. I love LinkedIn. I'm always on LinkedIn as well. So you've got Messenger on that. I'm on most of the biggies. I don't use Twitter as much. So if you send me a message on Twitter, it might take a while before that one's picked up. But yeah, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. You can contact me through my website. So AnneEnglish.uk. My phone number's on there. If you want to send me an email, it's hello@AnneEnglish.uk. Or I'm out and about. I've met a lot of people at networking events because I like to be in the room with people. So if you see me out and about somewhere, just, say, can I have a chat about this? Can I find out more? Always up for a conversation.
Excellent. There we go. I've popped that in the comments.
Oh, okay.
So that's fantastic. My BeLive has just gone crazy, but it's fine. It's all working. Brilliant. Yes, I saw you were at Insta Sisters the other day. I was at Bradley Gardens for breakfast, and I was like, "Oh, something is going on," and I didn't realise.
And then you're like, Anne's in there. So a big group of Insta Sisters. Yes, I love
that. There's something going on at the other end, and I'm like, it must be Insta Sisters today.
So the reason that I go networking is because I worked for 25 years with a company, and I started off with the two directors, and then there was me. So what happened was everybody that joined that company for the 25 years I knew. Then we got taken over by a competitor. We were number one, they were number two. They had money invested in them. They ended up thinking that actually it was all about the products and the contracts, because they used to do, say, Christmas decorations for all of the big shopping centres throughout Europe, including the Metro Centre. But it was about the people. So got made redundant in the July 2013, and their whole business collapsed by the Christmas. And what I found really tough was not having people around me. At that time, I thought I would need to go for my next forever job because I wanted to find my tribe. Now I've found my tribe. I found that through going to networking and connecting with like-minded people.
There's nothing like
sometimes you forget where you meet people. I think obviously recently more with women. That's where we kind of see each other. But along that path, along that journey, you end up bumping into people at different places, don't you? And then that's lovely to be able to get together to have conversations about what you're doing in your business and help and support each other. Yeah, so it's a bit like having work colleagues, but we're all focused on our own niche and our own special.
Yeah, it is so great to have some people that you can just like bounce things off, and it is wonderful.
True. Yeah.
Okay, so now that my BeLive is back, I apologise if I looked a bit distracted while you were talking, but it froze and nothing happened. And then it came back and you were like talking really, really, really fast on the video when it called.
Sorry.
So now that that's working again, I popped in the comments all those different ways that you said to get in touch about your visual marketing power hour. So people go and do that. Because I think we can see even just from the first two tips that there's going to be really useful for everybody. So brilliant. So what's the third tip? We'll go out with a bang.
Third tip. Yeah, go out with a bang.
No pressure.
Focal point. Focal point.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The focal point is what your eyes focus on first,
Mm-hmm.
which is really important from your customer's perspective. Throughout all of these tips, it's about the customer journey. It's about putting yourself into your customer's shoes. If you're presenting yourself at a expo or a market, what do they see when they walk in the room? Also, if they're scrolling down, if they're on the phone, they reckon it only takes 3 to 5 seconds to attract people's attention. That's probably less now. It's probably as fast as you can scroll.
Yeah.
You've got to attract people's attention. How are you going to do that? And by creating a focal point, something that people can focus their eyes on, is important. So maybe, I think that's why videos are quite popular now, because you get the movement, so that creates intrigue. So you might stop if you're scrolling to see a video. In the real world, if you walk into a room, what do you see first, or walk into a venue, that kind of thing. So if it was your living room, for example, your focal point may be your TV. If that's playing, maybe the TV. But if your fire's on and you've got a lovely warm glowing fire, that might be the focal point. So focal points can change depending on movement and sound and all that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But it's thinking about it, going into the room with your eyes open and thinking, right, where am I looking first? So if you're looking at a website, where do you look first? If you're looking at a leaflet or a banner, where do you look first? What's the focal point? Because that's where you want your key message to be.
Yeah, that's exactly the kind of thing I say all the time.
Yeah. And when I was talking about this at my last masterclass, the lady that was there said, oh, she says, I've just realised the focal point's the bin. Because when they walk into her environment, she's got the bin near the door because it's easier to empty in that. So from their perspective, from their kind of focus, that makes perfect sense. From a customer perspective, that's what you see first.
Yeah, that's not so good.
Walking in, doing the customer journey, whether it's a physical customer journey, putting yourself in their shoes, or it might be a digital customer journey, the scrolling or the navigating through your website, what is it that they see first? Because that can make a difference as to the impression that you're giving over. And it's also about checking it from different angles. So for example, at the expo, where are your customers? How are they approaching you? And they're not always approaching you from one angle. So I went into a seminar. So most people had it facing towards the door, but I went into a seminar. When I came out the seminar, all I saw was the back of people's stands and all the rubbish and stuff that they'd hidden behind their stands.
Yeah.
People couldn't see it from that direction, but you could see it from the other. So my tip with stuff like that is always have a big sheet of blanket, something dark, like a black blanket that you can put on top of all the rubbish to hide it away, because people don't want to see that. So yeah, it was. I did this with. Do you know Jerry King? He was doing an exhibition, and he came to me last minute. It was one of these kind of power hour things. He said to us, can you help us with my stand? Now, when he showed me his stand, the way that he was plotting it out, the way that he was looking at it was, he was looking at that back wall and thinking that people were looking at it straight on. But actually, people walk down. So the edges, these two edges of your stand, can be as important, if not more important, to capture people's attention as the back wall. So think about the focal point. Look at it from your customer's perspective. How are they seeing your business?
Yeah, that's a really good tip, because I think a lot of people wouldn't think about around the back or the side of their stand when they're at these things, would they? That's really handy. Yeah, and I think a lot as well with this whole focal point thing. Like at the minute, I'm designing a leaflet for one of my clients, and I like there to be on a leaflet, I think it's more important that the thing that you want to attract people's attention for is at the top. So like a phrase or a picture that's going to grab their attention rather than the logo. And I've done it, and he said, put the logo at the top. And I'm like, I'm going to have to send an email now and go, I'm not going to do that, because no one cares about your logo.
And think about it. If you're designing a leaflet, so I've worked with the Land of Open Iron with their visual marketing, and they've got at the entrance lots of leaflets, visitor attraction leaflets.
Yeah.
you stick those into a holder. So we've all
Exactly.
done it
So
when
you
we've
can't see
walked
the
into a
bottom.
venue.
Yeah.
And some designers don't think about this. So they design the leaflet, but the information's at the bottom. But of course, the way it's presented within that rack. So that's about the customer journey. That's about the thing that you're doing. Where's it going to end up? What's it going to look like? Not what it looks like in front of you, but where you're going to present it.
Yeah. It's really important to get this all. Yes, it's the kind of conversation I have all the time. It could be anyone.
Well, you're like me, that visual eye, isn't it? You understand.
You don't care about who you are until they know why they should care.
That's why people connect and use designers, because we do see things differently. And it's simple. It doesn't cost anything more for you to put that thing at the bottom or the top.
No.
But it can make a massive difference as to whether it attracts the attention of your target audience.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So I might just rewind through this and copy down what you exactly just said there. Got an English skills. But yeah, that's really, I think that is super important. Again, I've never designed anything. It's always like, what's the most important thing? And we all need to be thinking that all the time. What is the most important thing?
What's the key message? When you're designing stuff, it's what categories are you putting it under? Another kind of throwaway tip, another tip, but threes. Have a conversation anytime with me about threes separate to this, and I'll tell you why three's such a powerful number in design, display, in storytelling, in all sorts of things. So if you can categorize things down to threes as well, that's more powerful.
Yeah. I like 3 too. So Leanne, you've just joined. We're nearly finished here, so you're gonna have to go back to the beginning and start from there, because I know, because Leanne makes paper cut pictures, and
beautiful, yes,
with buttons and stuff, and they're all very pretty. And this is going to be very helpful for you. I could just see how good that would be. When you go to fairs and when you're presenting everything that you've got. So it's going to be great.
There's so many talented designer makers.
There so are. So. That's brilliant. Yeah. Okay, so I think we're done, although I could totally sit and talk to you for all day about this.
Likewise.
But we have things to do. So, yeah, that was great. So to recap, everybody, you need to be, she says she needs to watch the replay. Yes, you do. It's about less is more, grouping, which is a really interesting topic, and having a focal point, and then go and get in touch with Anne and get yourself a visual marketing power hour so that you can get all of this stuff just sorted. Yes. And then feel brilliant and go and make up sales.
Once you do it, you then just, apply it to your business, and you don't have to worry about it. It gives you the confidence to kind of just go out there and do your stuff. What you do best.
Yeah, exactly. We all need to be focusing on that, don't we? So I'll pop your website address up again. And that was great. Thank you so much. I knew it would be. She says, I can't wait. I didn't get the notification you were live. Oh, no. That's all right, because you can watch the replay. That's why we have a replay. And no, that's not Leanne. That's Donna. Too many people. Hello, Donna. So that's fine. There's a lot of people watch it back on replay. So do not worry about that. And I'm sure if you put comment questions in, we can sort out some answers.
Yeah, I'm happy to answer questions.
Well, that's so good. So I'm going to click end broadcast now. Thank you for joining me, you and everybody who is here. And I can't remember when the next top tips with is. Well, I'll let you all know. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you for inviting me. Bye.
Bye. Clicked on broadcast. You are still here, but I think we've left Facebook.